Thanks to Squarespace for working with me on today's video. So I'm just sitting here absolutely chilling, really enjoying my afternoon. Like, really enjoying my afternoon. I'm in Adobe Premiere Pro editing the latest episode of Pimp My Wi-Fi with Syndicate. And just for a split second, everything was going really, really well. And then, well, the unexpected happened.
Hello, this is Steve from overpricedcarinsurance.com. Just a quick call to let you know your insurance on your M2 competition has risen from £2,280 to £7,850 per month. Are you happy to proceed with this transaction or not? Hello?
So unfortunately I've had to sell that car due to the cost of actually owning it and now just really not being the right time.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me.
Now, on a serious note, ever since a young age, I've always been absolutely fascinated with adrenaline, going fast. And when I was younger, I could go out on quad bikes. I had a cool dune buggy. I can always remember when I was younger, I was anticipating the day that I would get my driving license. Now, since day one, I've always documented what I've been doing with my cars. I remember when I got my first car, my Mini 1D, I made a video about installing a sound system in the boot of that car. Now, over the years, I've vlogged me picking up my numerous cars, and it's been a big part of my life sharing that with you. I've now sold the M2 and bought an EV, a Tesla, and today I'm answering the age-old question. Is going electric really that bad? Okay, so I'm in MDM2 mode right now. I'm gonna go stop and floor it. Can't put the power down, it's struggling. There is just far too much power going to the rear wheels in this car, which is absolutely insane. It's what this car is basically all about. We've got rear wheel drive, we've got about 410 brake horsepower, 550 Newton meters of torque, but it's far too much for the rear wheels. It cannot put its power down, this car, which is what makes it so exciting. Okay, so obviously this is MarzBar Vlogs. You haven't clicked on this video for me to regurgitate a spec list to you. I want you to be able to go away from this video and have more knowledge about both of these cars, specifically the M2 and the Tesla. And you may think that they're different cars to compare, but they're really not. They're both around 50k. They're both, well, the same size. They both put out, give or take, the same power. So what's the difference to say, okay, let's get the Tesla or let's get the M2? Around these twisty bends here, I'm really feeling connected with the road whilst driving this M2. On one end of the spectrum, yes, I feel like I've got loads of confidence in the corners, but if I want to punch it with this car, that confidence then completely disappears because that back end gets so loose. This car is unreal. So if you don't know, this has been my daily driver for the last 2 years. I know this car absolutely inside and out, and like I've just mentioned, the seats are one of the things I absolutely love about this car. Not that they look really cool, which they do, they have an M2 logo in them that actually lights up, but the bolsters at the side actually really keep you in. So when you're going round some nice tight corners, which we've got one coming up here, you don't feel like you're sloshing about in the seat. They really do a good job at keeping you in. I've got great sort of connection to the road here, because the front of the car feels all together and nice and composed. But the back of this car, because it's rear wheel drive, it completely loses all of its composure as soon as you put your foot down. It just wants you to absolutely grab it by the neck. Whereas with the Tesla, you can drive it fast, but it doesn't feel like it wants to be sort of going 100 miles an hour all the time. Whereas when you sit in this car, it really just wants you to hammer it. It's, in other words, gagging for it. And I'm gonna be really upset to see this car go. because it's insane. But it's one problem. It would be even better if it could just put all of its power down, which it can't. It can't put all of its power down with it being rear wheel drive. And that's what makes this car what it is. It makes it an experience to drive. It wants to be grabbed by the neck, and it's unlike anything else, really. I absolutely love this car. So this is that carbon fibre strut brace that I was talking about, which flanks the front of the engine. This is what's holding the front of this car together. And on the previous M2, so the non-competition, they didn't have this bar at all. This is just on the M2 comp. They're the actually only electronically adjustable thing on this seat is the side bolsters. And then there's that M2 logo, which actually lights up at night time. It really is something special, this car, especially with all this carbon fibre that's been added aftermarket by myself.
And obviously everything inside of here really isn't minimal like it is in the Tesla. You've got this dash, which is all sort of facing towards the driver.
Mate, can I stop doing this now? I thought I was here to help you film a reel and work on Premiere, not hold a green screen up.
All right, we'll film the reel.
Thank you.
So where are you right now?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? Put me on Mars.
Oh God.
I don't know what this is, my Mars dance.
Are you confident?
Okay, so here we are in the Tesla Model 3. We've got about 450 brake horsepower, about 650 Newton meters of torque delivered to all four wheels via two motors. 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, it just puts the power straight down and we are at 60 like that. So that is the difference between the M2 competition and this Tesla, and the main difference is the fact that the BMW is rear-wheel drive and this is all-wheel drive. This thing has the power, but it can actually apply it to the tarmac, whereas the M2, well, it's just too much for the rear wheels. But how does this thing actually drive? Now, obviously with this being an EV, it has two major downsides to it. The first being that, well, it's heavy, coming in at about 2.2 tons, and the second being that they've got to put those batteries somewhere, so they're actually underneath the car, which raises up the seating position. However, I have managed to get a pretty decent seating position in this car. However, the seats are nowhere near as good as the M2. As you can see, I'm literally falling out the sides of these seats, whereas you wouldn't get that in the M2 comp. But going around these tight bends on these country roads, I mean, this car is really, really competent. I've been driving that M2, like I say, for the, I don't know, past 2.5 years, and that is a great car for twisting around country roads like these. But this doesn't really feel like it's not at home. You can definitely feel the added weight of the battery pack underneath, and when you throw it into corners, it does feel heavy, but it's not uncontrollable, and you do get a lot of sense of actually what's going on with the front of this car because the front is so light. You've got no engine there, so it is really pointy and quite nimble. The problem is the weight is at the rest of the car, so the front is nice and pointy, but you can really feel the rest of the car slugging around behind you, which isn't really ideal. But it's really not that bad, and it makes up for all of these things, every single thing, including the fact that there's no engine noise, with that instant torque that it can deliver like that, with having, well, no gears and just all of that power at your disposal. It really is as easy as, and you're in the back of your seat. It's almost too easy. But you see, the thing is, I'm tackling this wrong, because going fast and slinging this round bends, it's not what this car's about. This car is telling you to chill with this nice minimalistic interior that looks like it's, well, straight out of Japan. I mean, there's barely anything in here at all, and the fact that you can just do this. Now the car is driving itself, albeit not doing a very good job of it, but I mean, it's a relaxing place to be. So it's like a coin toss. What do you want? Do you want to go fast? Well, with this, you can go fast and it puts you in your seat, but you can also just be nice and relaxed inside of here and, you know, have a steady drive. It's almost, dare I say it, the best of both worlds. Now the thing is, with this toss-up between an M2 and a Tesla, you know what you want, really, don't you? I mean, the M2 is the driving car out of the both. I mean, with this car, you don't even really need to drive it. You just set your speed, put it in autopilot, and off you go. Which, whilst I've had this car and I've put 2,000 miles on it now, it's made me realise that it's not actually the driving that the Tesla does well. It's absolutely everything else that this car can do. It has things like an absolutely amazing sound system. We've got 15 speakers in here with Atmos-like sound effects coming out of these, which is insane. With a different car, you'd have to spec a sound system in which would cost you upwards of £5,000 alone. With a Tesla, it's all included. You got obviously this display, which you can't see right now, but is giving me my map and all my information that I need. A lot of people complain that having a touchscreen in a car is finicky. I say absolute rubbish to that. You've used a touchscreen on your phone for the last 10 years. Everybody knows how to use a touchscreen. It's really, really, really simple. You don't even really have to take your eyes off the road. The application that comes with the Tesla, and I'll put some clips over the top of me talking now, it's really, really simple to use. I've used apps with other cars. Quite often you can do little nifty things like unlock and lock the car, but they usually take ages to happen. With the Tesla app, it's like you've got the remote in your hand. It's super, super quick. And get this, you can even view the security system. This car has cameras around it live from the phone, so you can see if somebody is, well, tampering with your car when you're not even there. It's all of these little things which add up to make the Tesla experience what it is, and it's almost because of that really uncomparable to any other car that I've driven. And that's because, well, Tesla's a software company first, and I think it really, really shows. It's little things like, because this is an EV, you don't have to run the engine to run the climate controls inside the car. Therefore, it takes about 5 minutes to completely preheat this car before you've even left the house and got in it. And you basically control everything inside of the car by clicking on that little card down here. You've got your lights, windows. I really don't see why people complain so much about this interface of this car. I think it's mainly because people aren't used to it, but it is super, super simple. I mean, you want to, let's say, change your steering wheel. You click on steering, and then you use this little thing here to move the steering wheel up or down, exactly the same with the exterior mirrors. And in my opinion, I think people are complaining about change, when in fact, when the change is actually good, and it is this good, we should embrace it and actually give it a chance. It took me 2 years to buy an EV. People on my channel were telling me, Alex, get a Tesla, but I didn't. I bought the M2, and now I bought one of these, and I really don't know what all of the fuss was about inside of my head. What I would tell you is, look, if you're a racing driver and you love to go on track days, and it's stuff that I've done in the past, go ahead, get the M2. You will really, really enjoy it. It's an insane car. But if you have 50 grand to spend and you're looking at an M2 or this Tesla and you're thinking, I really don't know which one to get, and it's just for commuting to work and driving around, I'd get the Tesla. Because of all the creature comforts, you will end up liking the Tesla more. The M2 is the better driving car, but the Tesla is the better car to live with. And I think we'll leave it at that. But that's not to say I haven't had my fair share of issues with this car. Some of the things I've found whilst owning an EV, the battery drains when you're not even using the car, and I've estimated it drains about 4% a day. So if the car's sat here for 24 hours, it's going to lose 4% whether you've touched the car or not. And the main issue with all of this EV stuff, just to make you aware, is public chargers and the fact that some of them just don't work. I've been caught out actually quite nastily a few times with about 2% in the tank. I've pulled up to a public charger and it's broken. Another member of the public has broken it, or it's just not working, and therefore I've had to drive around to another charger, and that is scary. Range anxiety is a thing, and I don't want to hide that. But what you have to do is just factor everything in, build it into your routine, and you're good to go from there. They definitely are a learning curve, but once you've got your head round the whole EV thing, it just kind of becomes second nature. But there you guys have it. That's been my sort of M2 versus Tesla sort of M2 send-off video. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'm really gonna miss that M2. It was a big part of my life, and you guys know I love cars, so yeah, but we're on to the Tesla now, so it's all thanks to you guys. But yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, so Alex from the future here, with hopefully a better haircut than before, tell you that life is absolutely fine without the M2. To be honest, I don't know what I was worrying about. I am going to make a dedicated video on the Tesla, so if there is any EV related questions you guys have on your minds, let me know down in the comments and I'll be sure to try and answer them in that next dedicated video on the Model 3. So far, driving everywhere for free is great, saving the planet as well. I absolutely love it. But we need to thank today's video sponsor, guys, Squarespace. So, bam! There you guys go. On your screen right now, that is my website that I made on Squarespace. Bit of a tech freak like me, know what you're doing with websites and HTML. It's not just for newbies. They have expert features where you can go in and see things like the SEO, which is how your website is appearing on search engines like Google. Now, if you've done some research into websites before, you'll have known you need to secure something called the domain, which is actually your website name. You know, the www bit, all under the one platform. So you make your website with them, and then you don't need to go to a third party to get your domain. You just do it all through Squarespace in the one unique platform. What sort of websites can you make? Well, pretty much anything. Anything from like a blog, personally, about yourself, just with some written text on it. Or you could even make a business. I don't know, sell things on your Squarespace website. They've got e-commerce built right in. So if you guys would like a cheeky 10% off your first Squarespace purchase or domain, simply at checkout use code MarzBar or go to squarespace.com/MarzBar vlogs and start your website creating journey there. Nowhere else. And guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.